What is up, YouTube family? We are back at it one more again. And I was driving home a while ago and I heard this song by Chris Brown. It's called Sensational, right? And at first I was laughing at it because, you know, it's playing on the whole Afro beats wave, the whole Afro beats movement that's going on right now. And, you know, Chris Brown even got his little African accent in the joint. So I thought that was funny. But overall, when I started really listening to the music, the quality of the music, first of all, I think it's dope that the Afro beats movement is popping right now and everybody's jumping on that wave because, you know, you got reggaeton, you got all this other music out here, and all that stuff comes from Africa. All the music we're doing comes from Africa. It's the motherland. It's the originator of all people and all music. So it's only right that Africa and Africans are getting their shine on the U.S. national level in Africa and actually all over the world. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see these artists big up in these African artists and giving them some shine. It's been a long time coming, for real, for real. So that's dope, you know, that Chris Brown, like a lot of these other artists, have jumped on that movement. And but you know, a lot of people try to do it or want to do it, but how many people can actually pull it off? And I'm sitting there listening to the quality of the song, and I said, damn, you know, Chris Brown's really pulling it off. Like, he really, it's really a dope ass song. It's really the overall, the singing, the hook, the chorus, the feature, like everything about that song is really dope. And I just started thinking that I was like, yo, listening to the last 3 hits that Chris Brown has had, I know he's probably had more than that, but the ones that I'm familiar with are the Under the Influence song, which I thought was really dope. And then the Heat song from the Indigo album, I thought was really a crazy track, you know. Those are the 3 that really caught my ear. I haven't listened to all his albums and stuff, and I've heard him on other songs, and I just started to think, like, damn, like, this dude, every time you think he's going to fade off a little bit, he stays current. I don't think people really understand how current this dude constantly remains. Go and do your research and look at the albums that he's put up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all put in the comments, you know, hit me to it, because I'm out of the loop when it comes to R&B. I actually think a lot of the R&B today sucks, but that just proves my point, what I'm about to make about Chris Brown even more. When I started thinking of his overall career and these hits that he's constantly been putting out and how relevant he stays in the game over how many years now? What he came out, what year was that? He's been out 20, at least a good 20. So he's definitely legendary status, but I started thinking, like, yo, can he really be considered the GOAT? And most people will say that's blasphemous. I knew for years, I was like, yo, that's blasphemous. And even Chris Brown himself, I've seen him say that it's blasphemous. Like, don't compare him to Michael Jackson. And I'm glad he said that, because, you know, you let the people decide. You know, if you're that talented, you don't have to say anything. You know what I'm saying? They will anoint you themselves. And I think this is that coming of age moment for me where I'm really starting to think about Chris Brown in that realm. Like, before, I wouldn't even have that conversation. But now when you really look at the totality of his resume, and the quality of music he's putting out lately is like some of the best music he's ever made. You know what I'm saying? And he does it so often and so consistently in every era and every year, it seems like, that people are just used to it. It's kind of like LeBron, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've been doing it for 20 years. People get dumbed down, or their senses get numb to what they're actually watching. They're so used to LeBron going crazy, they don't realize this dude's 40 years old, still dunking like this. Like, do you realize this is insane right now, what we're watching? You know what I'm saying? And I think the same holds true for Chris Brown. The thing about Chris is he's still a pretty young dude. You know, I'm sure he's like probably mid 30s now, but I mean, you can go into your 50s and 60s. Look at Ron Isley. You know what I'm saying? But to go deeper into the GOAT debate, you know, of course, the Chris Brown scandal always comes up. And I started thinking, like, is Chris Brown so great that he's made us forget about the Rihanna thing? It's close. I mean, of course, he's still being haunted by it. He'll forever be haunted by it. But when that whole thing went down, I thought this dude's career was over. So to see him stick to it and evolve into what he is now, I gotta commend the dude. You know what I'm saying? The thing I didn't like about how Chris Brown handled it was he was lashing out at the people that were against him in the beginning. And it's like, dude, you have to take that on the chin. Like, you have to understand that what you did, there's no excuse for. You know, you can't lash out and call people haters and try to play the victim and then turn around and try to be this bad boy because of it's you against the world type of thing. Like, no, you're not the victim. The victim was Rihanna. I don't care what she did. You can't beat on her the way you did. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, there's no excuses for it. So when something like that happens as a man, you just got to take that. You got to take whatever comes with that. You got to be humble. And that's not what he was doing. He was lashing out and, you know, calling people haters and naysayers. And it's like, dude, of course they're going to hate and naysay. You just beat her half to death. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like the way he handled that whole situation. And I was pretty much done with his ass because of that shit. Not only what he did, but what he did afterwards. You got to show total humility and fall on that sword and just take the beating. You just got to walk through town, let people stone you to death. You know what I'm saying? You don't say, you just take it. You know what I'm saying? And then over time, you just start coming back and making hits, you know? So he didn't go that route. He became this bad boy. He started getting all these tattoos and hanging with all the thug rappers, and then went so far as to join the Blood Gang and become this gangster. Like, he's this gangster R&B singer now, right? So that whole shit was just crazy to me. And I was like, I ain't fucking with this dude. But at the same time, I noticed that he was still dropping hits. Like, even when he dropped that Deuces song way back when that shit first went down, that song was a hit. I couldn't fake on it, you know? And I noticed he kept dropping more and more hits. And that's the thing with me. That's why I'm having this conversation, because for me, when I try to hate on you or I try to dislike you and you still end up swaying me over to your side, to where I start liking you and you know what I'm saying, you become an artist that I'm actually rocking with now, that's when I anoint you and say, yo, you might be in that GOAT category for real. The same thing happened to me with Jay-Z. I was trying to hate on Jay-Z at first. I mean, that first album, I remember listening to Dead Presidents and feeling it. I had bought that single, both of those singles, and I was captivated. I was amazed at his skill level, but the content that he was talking about, I couldn't relate to. I was wearing Timbs and fatigues and drinking 40 ounces, smoking blunts, listening to Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't get with the whole braggadocio, cigars, champagne popping Hove wearing the tuxedo, talking about drug dealing. Like, I wasn't into none of that, so I couldn't relate. But I didn't realize that he was so far ahead of his time that I just hadn't caught it yet. And then eventually, over time, when I started getting my hustle on and really starting to see that money was going to change my life, I need to get to it. And I started enjoying the finer things in life. I ended up becoming the number one Jay-Z fan. Like, to me, Jay is the GOAT to me. And I used to hate on him, trying not to listen to Jay. And I just couldn't deny it. When you're that great that you can't be denied, you're definitely in that GOAT status. Like, people could not like you. People could say, oh, I'm a Biggie fan, not a Pac fan. It don't matter what your preference is. Pac is up there. It don't matter if your favorite rapper is Machine Gun Kelly. Eminem is up there. Like, you just can't deny it. You cannot deny the GOATs. You can't deny the legends. Just like LeBron, and don't matter if you're a Michael Jordan fan. You can't deny LeBron. He's in the conversation. It's just nothing you ever gonna do about it. It's nothing you can say about it. It just is what it is. Just take it as it is. But that's true greatness right there. When they can't deny you, that's when you know you're great. Like, all of y'all that's in y'all personal situations, right? Y'all got haters and naysayers. All you got to do is keep being successful and keep being great. Don't let them deny you. You know what I'm saying? You are undeniable. You can't be denied. They can't stop you. You know what I'm saying? Just go be great and everything else will fall into place. You know what I'm saying? All the doors will open back up again. All the people will have no choice but to bow down and apologize to you or congratulate you. I'm the living proof of it. My whole life is that right there. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about. It's about being legendary. It's about having a legacy, and it's about overcoming the obstacles. And when you're looking at Chris Brown's his career, you gotta commend him for continuously putting out hit after hit after hit, and staying current at all times. Now, the other aspect of Chris Brown that's pretty amazing is his choreography, his dancing skill is by far, hands down, way better than Michael Jackson's ever was. Now, you don't want to disrespect Michael Jackson's, because without Michael Jackson's evolution of what he came from and what he turned it into, there probably wouldn't be the Chris Brown. That's why Chris Brown humbly respects my MJ and says, don't put me in that conversation. And that's the correct thing to say. But for us, when you really want to talk about this shit, Chris Brown, hands down, is the best dancer. He might be the best dancer you've ever seen. Now, I've seen some dudes, like, there's a dude named Marquis Scott. They call him Nonstop. That's my favorite dancer. Like, this dude does that animation shit. Like, I ain't never seen nobody move before. Like, that shit is crazy. That dude is amazing. Go look him up on YouTube. Like, he's incredible. But as far as just like choreography, dancing and singing, like an artist who can dance. When you think about that, you think of James Brown, you think of Michael Jackson, and there's some other ones, Usher, and then you think of Chris Brown. Chris Brown is the best, hands down. It ain't even close. He is the new evolution of dance. Now, I don't know if he can break dance. I'm sure he can. But I love to see dudes like Common who can do the windmill and shit, But Common can't do what Chris Brown does. Like, I'm sure Chris Brown can probably break dance too. And they could probably windmill his ass off. You know what I'm saying? But go and look at the choreography he's done for Sensational, Under the Influence, and Heat. Those three right there, that's all you need to see right there. That motherfucker can dance his ass off. I can't even fake. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown ass man, and I ain't gonna lie. I pull that shit up on YouTube and be showing my peoples. I be showing my mama and them, showing my wife and them, like, yo, look at this motherfucker. This motherfucker can dance his ass off. Just like how we used to admire how good Michael Jackson was. But this Chris Brown shit is on a whole nother level. It's the same thing with the new breakdancers. You can't disrespect the old school breakdancers, of course. They the originators, the pioneers. But these new breakdancers, these motherfuckers be defying gravity. Like, I ain't never seen no shit like it. Jabberwockies, yo, them motherfuckers are crazy. The Kenjas, and there's a whole bunch of other ones out there, but they've taken dance to a whole nother level, and Chris Brown is right there in that mix with some of the best dancers in the world. He could join Jabberwockies and be right there with them dudes. You know what I'm saying? He might be the best dancer out of all of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, them dudes are pretty nice. But you get my point. Chris Brown is definitely in that realm of the greatest of all time. It's unfortunate that he had the incident with Rihanna, but when you look at all the other greats, they all got these scandals too. Look at R. Kelly. What R. Kelly did, that's a whole nother level. Like, I don't give a fuck how many hits he gonna drop after he get out or how many hits he got. When you fucking with the kids, like, that's just, come on, man. We got to draw the line some goddamn way. Like, that's just unforgivable. We're not forgiving motherfucking pedophiles and shit. I don't give a fuck how many hits he got. The motherfucker's the Pied Piper, but y'all can be out there still enjoying R. Kelly if you want to. Just understand that you loving a pedophile. And if you cool with that, then that's on you. Chris Brown, on the other hand, he made a mistake. Now, the thing that has plagued him is that if he would have just had that one incident and kept his nose clean and never heard anything else ever again, I think he would be able to do the Super Bowl and these commercials and the Michael Jackson performances, the tributes and stuff like that. But I think the reason a lot of people get upset about that because they say, yo, he paid his dues, let the man perform. Of course he ain't gonna be able to do the Super Bowl because Jay-Z is running that, and Rihanna is like Jay-Z's little sister. So that shit just ain't ever gonna happen. I don't think Jay is ever gonna let that ride. I mean, would you let that shit ride if a motherfucker beat your sister up the way that Chris Brown beat up Rihanna? Would you forgive the dude and like let him come and be on your platform and make amends with him? You know what I'm saying? I just don't see it. I don't see it. It ain't too many big brothers that's gonna let that shit ride. The way that he put his hands on her, I don't think Jay-Z letting that shit ride ever. So fuck the Super Bowl for him. And it's a shame because he's definitely the guy who should be doing it next. He's the guy that should be there. But some of the other, award shows and things, I think the reason that they are not allowing it is because he keeps having other incidents, his shit is just not squeaky clean after the Rihanna thing. But a lot of these things are accusations. But when you start having enough of them, people start wondering, like, does this dude really have a problem, an anger management problem? Remember, he threw the damn chair out the window at the damn, what was it, Good Morning America or some shit? He got pissed off and threw a chair out the window. And a lot of people downplay that, but it's like, yo, that shit had to land somewhere, like on the streets of New York. Like, I'm surprised that shit didn't hit nobody and kill somebody. Throwing a chair out of the window in New York City, like, you crazy? So shit like that, has plagued him. You know, he keeps having other incidents. Like I said, a lot of that shit is accusations. But it's like where there's smoke, there's fire. So there were drug accusations too. So it's kind of hard to say. I think those are the reasons why he still can't get those big time performances at the award shows and things like that, and at the arenas and things. So we'll see how that goes in the future. But once again, the best thing he can do and you can do when you're having issues like that is continue to be better. Try to be, stay out of harm's way as much as possible. Keep your nose clean as much as possible. When you got a track record, the only way you can move past that is to get better and not have any more incidents. You know what I'm saying? It's just like somebody getting out of jail. If you on probation or you on parole, you can't fuck up no more. You gotta stay on the straight and narrow. That just is what it is. So hopefully Chris will continue to keep doing his thing and just keep putting the work in and keep putting the hits out, because he made me a believer. I'm definitely on the Chris Brown bandwagon. I'm a fan. I think the dude is hellified talented, but hopefully he can cut out the bad boy shit, the gang shit, the drug shit, and hopefully no more incidents with the females, man. You know what I'm saying? Just keep putting out hits and your time is going to come. And the same goes for the rest of y'all. Until next time, I'll holler at y'all. 100.